So it's been another beautiful day in Rockford. I'm crossing the East State Street Bridge, headed eastbound. I'm headed home. I could jump on a bus. In fact, the bus just passed me, but the walk is only about, it's about 2 miles or so, more or less, depending on my route. Might be 1.75 to 2, depending on the route I take. So, on my walk, I'm gonna have you join me, so you're invited, okay? And we'll see what we find, or see. You know, I've done this walk a few times. I've been on the bus, I've driven, I've been driven, but no matter what, I always seem to find something new. And that's the thing about walking and using mass transit instead of always driving, is that you get to see more. You get to experience more. You get to run into people more. And I don't know, for me, it's who I am. It's kind of exciting. I'm a wanderer and I want to see things. Like I'll give you for example. See that statue right there? I didn't even know that statue was there until just a couple of weeks ago. In fact, it might even be a newer statue. So let's go take a look. A lot of you folks recognize this gentleman right here, Mr. Fireworks, the Joe Marino Park. Joe Marino, Mr. 4th of July. Come down and read the plaque. I'm not going to read it to you. You got to get off your couch. Come explore. Okay, let's go take a look at this beautiful sculpture down here. So this angel here, this sculpture, is from 2003, and this I will read to you because this is pretty tender here. Forever in our hearts, with hope in her wing, may anyone who has ever felt the loss of a child find this place to mourn and heal. Okay, so we're back on the road again. This is where the city market is held on Fridays. This street right here, and then underneath the roof there, vendors come out here to sell their snacks and their foods and food trucks, and there's music and there's beer and people are hanging out and the kids are playing. That's the city market on Fridays. One thing that I've noticed over the past couple of years, that was away in Mexico during all of COVID, about 3.5 years taking care of my mom. She was 89 when I arrived, and 93 when she passed away this past May. But something that I've noticed is a lot of murals and a lot of color, and Rockford looks really, really bright, and it's shining. It's like somebody just, I don't know, it's like, when you polished your silverware long time ago. Well, people, the city, and people, because the city is people. So the people, us, have been shining up Rockford. And it's beautiful, and I love it. I think this is the old YMCA building. In fact, I think it says YMCA somewhere on it. Yeah, right there on the arch, I think. Yep, YMCA, right above the arch. Historic building. This is East State Street, historic area. Every now and then I sneak into Jimmy John's and get myself a little sandwich. Beautiful architecture, owners maintaining their buildings, freshening them up for renters that put their shops in there, bookstores, eateries, restaurants, cafes, gathering spaces. It's not a very big downtown, so you can walk this downtown in about an hour and a half or so. And if you really want to explore, then yes, you could spend several hours down here going to the churches. The churches are pretty epic. A lot of beautiful stained glass, a lot of craftsmanship in the churches. If you haven't gone into some of the historic churches in Rockford and you're an art enthusiast or an architectural or an architecture or somebody that likes architecture, then you gotta go into the churches, folks. You gotta go. You gotta imagine at the turn of the century, not 2000 but 1900, electric train going up and down State Street here, called the interurban electric train, which connected Belvedere, Rockford, Janesville, and Beloit. Here's our city buses here. Jump on one, folks. Even if you're a local, you should jump on a bus and just explore. That building right there, I can't read it, but it looks like it says 1889. Abrio, been in there, good restaurant. Was in the Irish Rose. That was actually the very first restaurant I came to eat at. And then there's another one called Social, and that's really delectable. Oh, love it. We're coming up to the former hotel here. For some reason or other, it just escaped me the name. The Faust Hotel. Right there, Faust Hotel. And then right over there is the Midway Theater. No, pardon me. Yes, the Midway Theater. I hope they're gonna continue to renovate and clean that theater up and turn it into a usable space. Yep, the Midway Hotel. Beautiful facade. Again, you gotta imagine yourself going into these theaters, you know, 1910, 1915, 1920s. You know, I've looked at the advertisements for the movies playing in these theaters. Maybe it wasn't 1910, maybe 20. Maybe it was like 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe into the 50s even. It's the Faust Hotel here. Okay, folks, I'm gonna start moving right along. Got about 1.5 miles to walk. Okay, so I'm walking southbound right now, parallel to 6th and 7th Street. I'm on 5th Street, headed south, and then I'm gonna head east here shortly and get onto 7th Street and walk home that way. But I'm gonna show you some things also. This was one of the schools here, 1890 something. It's now it's being used for offices of some sort. Emmanuel Lutheran Church is coming up down here also. I might cut across this lawn right here. Anyways, folks, there's a lot of really beautiful homes here. You know, a lot of Swedish influence. Just a couple of blocks from here, a few blocks from here is the historic Haight Village that you need to explore also. And even if you have explored it in the past, come back, folks. Come back and take a look, because things change, you know, and you feel different about things. And, you know, a lot of neighbors get together and they do beautiful things. Like, just look at this little entry here into this little garden. I mean, these little elements, it's creative, it's creativity. The Sacred Labyrinth. Now, I'll read more about that later, but, oh yeah, there is a labyrinth in there on the ground. These little things. Oh, look, in a community garden too. What does this tell you? It tells you that people are here and we're alive. There's Emmanuel Lutheran Church. That is a beautiful church, folks. Even if you're not a church-going person, you can even be atheist, okay? The art, the architecture that you know, that's inside of here, it speaks of the people that were here, and that's what it is. You know, when I take you on a walkabout with me, what I'm sharing is all sorts of different things. It's not just one thing. It's all sorts of different things, because you might be attracted to some things, you know. Maybe you're attracted to the manufacturing history of Rockford. Maybe you're attracted to the architecture, you know, the history of the people, places to eat and drink, you know, places just to hang out. Or maybe you just want to get inspired with something that you could do in your own community or in your own neighborhood. And of course, when I make these videos, and folks that used to live here a long time ago, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, you can see what has become of your city. Or you can reminisce and say, hey, you know what? I used to go to church there. I used to go to school there. Thank you so much for sharing this, because I miss my old community. It's a nice time of day to be walking. And the good thing is it's not very hot today. 7th Street is right over there. I'm gonna go down another block here and then cut over. So I'm gonna cut through this parking lot here. These are the Rockford Public Schools offices. In this parking lot here, I believe it's this parking lot, there's a like a farmer's market. I think it could be in the middle of the week. Anyways, Google it, explore, you know? I don't know everything. I'm just here to share stuff with you. You can do the rest. Hit that Google button and do search. Rockford farmers markets today, or something like that. Here's Katie's cup. It was interesting. I always thought Katie was the owner, like there was an actual person named Katie. And there is a person named Katie, but it's a long history. Google that too, okay? Katie's cup. I love their coffee. So this is 7th Street. Now 7th Street was a very lively, busy commercial area in the late 1800s, early 1900s. A lot of history on 7th Street. And I'll share some of that later on with you. Right now, let's just enjoy the walkabout, okay? I'm walking pretty quick here, even while I'm recording. I'm walking pretty quick, so this is actually not a very far walk. I'm gonna say it's probably about 1.5 miles. It might not be 2 miles, but I'll recheck. Another thing that I'm really pleased with the city is the bike lanes. See the bike lanes on both sides? Ernie's Midtown Pub. I need to go check that place out. And I think that's First Zion Church over there. Nilsson's Bedford Block. I never noticed it before, but at the very top you can see the numbers 1907, 1907. Now this right here, this structure here, these are some really beautiful windows here that face the east. I really, really love them. And I saw a picture recently and I said, that's gotta be the same set of buildings on 7th Street. So I counted the bay windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, but I think there were 6, maybe even 8. So I think that the building continued down here and had these windows on it, just like that. This is one of my favorite buildings. I don't know why exactly. There's just something about it that I just appreciate. There's still a lot of work to be done, because you can see here, this symbol here tells firefighters that this building is structurally damaged, and if they go in there, they have to be very, very careful. In fact, they'd probably almost let it burn, or at least control the fire, because there's really not much they're going to be able to do without risking their own health and welfare. Okay, so here's the 7th Street train station. That's it right there. That would have been the commuter station right there. So this train track here, I think if I jump on this track and I walk straight that way, that's standard. I believe that's standard furniture right over there. Pretty sure. If I walk on this train track, I will almost be about 1.5 blocks from my house, 2 blocks from my house. But we're going to continue down 7th Street. A lot of manufacturing buildings here, a lot of distribution, storage. You know, actually I am gonna walk down this street here. I'm not gonna go down 7th Street. So this is Railroad Avenue. And yes, that is Standard Furniture building down there. And the other building originally was a factory for screen doors. And they both opened up operation about the same time. I was just reading about it today. And I think it was probably about 1880s or so. This remains pretty much an industrial, commercial area. A lot of small businesses have their offices here. You can see like some trucks parked there. Storage. This building here is some kind of outreach center for the community. I've seen folks that have needed help, and they come here. Oh, this is Carpenter's Place. Oh my, okay, so now I know. That makes the connection. I shop at the Carpenter's Place thrift store, and it is for homeless people. It helps homeless people and people that, you know, that are rebuilding their lives. So one thing I'm noticing compared to, let's say 10, 15 years ago, look at the streets here. Somebody's either come down here and cleaned it up, either the neighbors, the small business owners, or they've asked the city to come and clean it up. But this is noticeably cleaner, and that's really good. That's a really good start. And a little hedgehog, groundhog. I don't like those groundhogs near my house because they burrow some deep holes, man. They will mess a house up. So if I were to have like a little tour company or offer tours to people, if you're listening to this, give me a call, you know, just send me a message and say, hey, you know, I'm coming into town. I need somebody to help me, guide me around town. I would more than gladly help you navigate this city, this small city. And I'll have fun, and I'll make it fun, and you'll have fun. And, you know, just throw me, a couple 20s or so, and or half a dozen tacos, and we're good, okay? Because I want to be a good neighbor, but at the same time, you know, I always say, if you provide a good service to somebody, the money naturally comes. So, and I will accept it. Okay, so this is the Standard Furniture Company building right here. It's beautiful. I mean, you may not see it as a beautiful building, but I think if you're still with me, you're kind of excited. And maybe at one point somebody in your family worked there, or your grandparents worked there, or you have furniture. Oh, come on, folks. You have furniture. Especially you pickers that are out there at the thrift stores and you find stuff. Well, now you know, where did that furniture come from? It came from Standard Furniture here in Rockford, Illinois, in the Woodruff Addition neighborhood, which was probably platted around, I'm going to say probably about the 1880s or so. I know that the neighborhood that connects to Woodruff, Rockview, was platted in 1903, and that's only about half a mile away. That's where I'm headed, because that's my home. Who used to drink there? I don't know, but if I get thirsty enough, I might need me a little brewski. Now I can imagine this here, some beautiful condos or apartments. Earlier in the spring, I was walking on the railroad tracks and on the other side over there, and just noticing some of the buildings, some of the construction, and saying to myself, wow, there's some old homes, and some people, you can see, have invested some money in them. I like to invest money also. I like a good return on my investment, and I like to have fun. You know, I don't take life too seriously. All right, I'm gonna put this on pause for a moment, and then I'll invite you back, okay? I just had to film that door and ask who walked in those doors to work or to buy, or were you a vendor and did you sell to Standard Furniture? You know how the salesmen are. I was a salesman at one time. You had to get in the door somehow. Nowadays, we go through the internet, mostly through the internet. But back in the day, you would actually travel and knock on doors, set up appointments to meet. Yes, there's no doubt in my mind that somebody has been taking care of this Railroad Avenue, because it is noticeably cleaner. Very, very clean. Still an industrial area, and you know, it's on the southeast side of Rockford. You know, it's not like, you know, one of the newer neighborhoods, but I can tell that it's being taken care of. And maybe it's just the wind and the flooding, I don't know, but let's be positive. Now this is Benson Stone here, and let's see what this company name up here is. I know I've read it before, but I don't remember. Is it Ekstrom? Ekstrom and Carlson. Ekstrom and Carlson Company. Now we'll have to research what they did, or what they made. Parmel Street. This is a good walk. I'm glad I chose to walk instead of jumping on the bus. You know, I have a bike. I actually have two bikes. Let's take a look at this building a little better. You can see where I walked. I actually have two bikes, but I haven't ridden them in a few years. Well, the Schwinn I got last year. I believe it was last year, and it did need some repairs. I was gonna get it fixed up and stuff like that, but I chose to invest my money elsewhere. But I have a Murray from, I think it's an 80 or 81, a collegiate style bike, and that one I've ridden. Well, I think I've probably had that for about 12, 13 years, if not more. And I did ride that a lot down in the Chicago suburbs and here in Rockford, but it's been hanging in my garage now. I'll probably pull it out, get some air in the tires and have it inspected, and then take it for a ride, because like this is the perfect place to ride. You know, go up and down my house, from my house to 7th Street, grab a coffee at Katie's Cup, meet a friend or something, and then head on home. Or maybe go to a Carpenter's Place thrift store, go to Aldi, put my groceries in the basket. So this is a wood rough addition. This was added to the city limits of Rockford. Like I said, probably 1880s, maybe even 1870s. All right, so I'm gonna cross the tracks, and then we're only about maybe 400 yards from my house. This is 11th Street I'm going to be crossing right here. And that's Broadway down there at the light. And we cleaned the train trestle about 200 yards down the rails there this weekend. And I'm really happy about that. Good community spirit. Had some extraordinary neighbors. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here, folks. We're just connecting. Maybe you're on the other side of the country, other side of the world, but we're still connecting. And that's what I believe social media is for. I'm not here to scare people. No conspiracy theories here. All goodwill, man. Good stuff here. You know, so stick around. Follow me a little bit more. This is Rockford, Illinois, in the Midwest. Not too far from Chicago, not too far from Madison or Milwaukee. And you're invited to come down here, okay? All right, I'm gonna turn this off and walk a little faster. So, I'm almost home. You might start recognizing where I'm at right now. That's Broadway in front of me, and that's the Rockview Tavern right in front of me. And Beach Boy Toys is on the corner there. And Toad Hall is just to our left, on the other side of the tavern. And if you take a look at that trestle bridge, it's all nice and cleaned up. And thank you very much to our alderman for helping out and getting the news people out here to create some awareness of our community. And I know the next event, more people will start showing up. And I know, I can see people are doing it around their neighborhoods already. So that's great. Keep on doing it, folks. All right, I'm almost home. I will talk to you later on.